MC for the evening, if you will. And thank you. I direct the GME program here, and I'm, honored to introduce you and welcome you to the 2024 Graduate Medical Education Graduation. All right, thank you. Hey, so before I start, first thing, I have to tell you that AI did not write my speech. Unless it's bad, in which case AI wrote my speech. All right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for celebrating your graduates. Residency is a really hard time. It's 3 to 5 years. We've got our transitional years that are 1 year long, and it's grueling. And so it's a pleasure to be able to come here and celebrate these graduates. When you train in residency, you end up with stories, and these are the stories that end up being the foundation for the stories you tell through your career. I'm 50 years old now. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And I get to pull the old card now and say, yeah, I remember when, and I remember when. Okay? So here's the story. I remember when I was a resident, as a third-year resident, on September 11th, 2001, and I was the senior resident in the ER in New Jersey, and watched live when a second plane hit a tower. And we prepared for casualties, and they never came. Right? A couple months later, as a senior resident, I was working at a postal service distribution center because somebody sent anthrax in the mail to our politicians. All right? These are the stories you tell now, a whole bunch of years later, that say, okay, this is what's established me as a physician, as a practitioner. Now, I'm sure you guys have some stories, a couple little things. A pandemic, may have influenced your training a little bit. Maybe you have some stories from it. Maybe there was an insurrection that happened, a little bit of news. There have been conflicts around the world, including in the Ukraine and Gaza. We placed the first black woman on the Supreme Court. Last year was the hottest year on record. And here at Arnott, we went as an institution on probation and then successfully got off of probation. And the folks in front of you are what got us there, both our faculty, our program directors, and our trainees. So imagine being a resident during these times, and I know it's easy for our families and supported loved ones because when you could get a hold of these people on the phone, you've been there the whole time, and I thank you for it. One of the best things about my job is that I get to know each one of these guys separately. They all have my phone number, for better or worse, but they all have my phone number. They don't call it a lot, but now and then they do. And so it really is a touching moment for me to be able to do this graduation every year because I get to acknowledge them. So every year, starting last year, every year I get to make fun of a couple. Maybe not fun. So I would like to make a couple recognitions, if I may. Dr. Sadaf Mughal and Soumya Srinivas, I don't know where you are. They started here at Arnott as our research coordinators and have stayed on, and 3 years later, 4 years after the research year, have gotten to finish their training. So congratulations. Dr. Farhan Ali, where's Farhan? On my left, hey. Completed his internal medicine training here, completed his GI fellowship here, and I hope after additional training will come back, please. I'd like to note Dr. Helena Prieto and Sam Nanwani. Where are you guys? Hey. I know Helena couldn't come tonight, but we're lucky enough that they're staying on as part of our psychiatry faculty. I'd like to mention the entire emergency medicine graduating class. Woo! They've been a great group. They've also been trouble. But they've been a great group, and congratulations. And lastly, I'd like to comment, I got to see where they are. Emma Bentley and Cam Neal. Hey there, hey! Have been here so long, 5-year training, and, we've gotten to know them as a family, and it's just been huge to see them, make it through the ways. So congratulations. So real quick, I'd like to say congratulations to all our graduates. If we could have a round of applause. I do want to make an honorable mention to Dr. Joe Matthey. You can stand up, Joe. When you've been a physician for 50 years now, I hear you get to sit right back down because it's time. Yeah, I'd love to say more about Joe, but I'll be honest, the number of roles, jobs, and awards he's had over these 50 years, there's not enough time. And we're all getting hot, so let's just keep moving. But Joe, congratulations on your 50th anniversary of your medical school. All right, now for some thank yous. I thank the families and the loved ones of our graduates for supporting them again through some hard times, and particularly in stressful times, considering the pandemic and all. I'd like to thank the administration of Arnott for their ongoing support, and thankful for the partnership we've had in caring for the community. Thank you to our program directors and faculty. Without them, we would not have our graduates, and they are really the lifeblood of the GME program. We owe special thanks to our residency coordinators and GME staff. So Paula, Angela, Lindsay, Allison, Sandy, Melissa, Kathy, and Miriam. And we have 3 new teammates, Amanda, Emily, and Megan. Congratulations. We all know who's really keeping this thing moving. All right. We are going to say farewell and an extra thank you to Melissa, who is leaving Arnott after almost 25 years and moving to Tampa to continue in a GME role and leaving us, and we wish you luck. We're also saying farewell to Paula, taking a position with LECOM in Florida. She's been a bedrock across Arnott. How many years now? A lot. She said a lot. And just a real force in GME. I'll never forgive her because we had a whole plan about, when we're going to retire and things like that, and she is totally messing up the plan. That is what it is. And we wish you luck. A couple nights ago, we had a party, for GME staff and to wish Melissa and Paula farewell. And we gave them suitcases in order to tell them to come back. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll try. Lastly, I thank you all for being here and supporting our graduates. So congratulations. Thank you all. And if I could introduce Mr. Lawrence.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Witt, Dr. Terry, faculty members, graduates, residents, family, and friends. On behalf of our board, our executive team, and the entire ArnotHealth organization, it is my privilege and sincere pleasure to welcome you to this evening's ceremony. This is an evening for recognition and celebration with your family and friends and colleagues, And so I promise to keep my remarks relatively brief because I am not going to be the one standing here between you and that celebration. I particularly value your candor, your lack of inhibition, and your patience. Let me begin by especially thanking this graduating class and all of our residents. You have played a critical role in what is clearly the most transformative time in Arnot's history. The benefit of your insights, your constructive input throughout our ACGME reaccreditation process this past year has been, as Dr. Witt says, instrumental. We have once again earned full accreditation status, and we remain committed to continuous quality improvement and to achieving the highest levels of performance across all aspects of our program. Arnot is now established as the region's epicenter for medical education, and we are recognized as the predominant safety net provider of vital healthcare services for our community. No other healthcare system has the capacity to absorb Arnot's volume of emergency room care, psychiatric services, women and children's services, advanced neonatal ICU care, surgical services, diagnostic and interventional imaging, just to name a few of our most critical services. And we can throw one heck of a party, too. As a result, we have successfully demonstrated the essential nature of what we do. And Arnot has subsequently garnered the financial support of New York State as a vital access provider. This designation has afforded us tens of millions of dollars in annual operating support to offset the shortfall between insurance payments and our ever-increasing expenses. It is with this support that we continue to execute an ambitious, strategic, future-oriented agenda that reflects our commitment to the community and to the combined achievement of our educational goals. At this time last year, I announced that we had initiated discussions with Cayuga Health System in Ithaca to assess the opportunity for collaboration. A critical component of these conversations was the potential to jointly implement the EPIC electronic health record system across our respective systems by early 2025. This was our moonshot. With the support of more than $20 million from New York State and other public and private funding sources, I am proud to announce that this vision is now being realized. Arnot is on track to have EPIC live and fully operational by the time we gather here again this time next year. That's worth, thank you. EPIC's fully integrated state-of-the-art platform will have an immediate and transformational impact on our quality of care, the performance of our organization, and the experience of our providers, residents, and staff. It will not only enhance our delivery model, but it will also enhance the quality of resident training, ensuring that our graduates are well prepared wherever your careers may lead. I am also pleased to announce that following our multi-million-dollar renovation and expansion of the Arnot Ogden Emergency Department, we have also been awarded a $5 million grant to establish a community psychiatric emergency program, or CPEP. Thank you. This designation will enhance our psychiatric residency program by allowing us to further optimize our physical space and hire additional staff resources to support the needs of our community members in crisis and further our academic endeavors. In addition to these initiatives, Arnot is now also under consideration for over $11 million of additional federal funding to expand our cancer center, to make further investments in imaging services, nursing education, and emergency preparedness. Finally, it's okay, I don't take it personally. We remain engaged in discussions with the Governor's Office and the Commissioner of Health. Ultimately, we are working to achieve their support for a master facility plan to replace outdated, inefficient, and costly infrastructure with right-sized, purpose-built facilities that will meet the changing clinical, administrative, and educational needs of our community well into the future. In closing, nope. Thank you. I am confident that each of these initiatives will greatly enhance our academic capability and will optimize the learning environment for our medical students, residents, faculty, and staff. As Arnott's graduating residents, we applaud your success and accomplishments. Your professional growth and development is a continuing source of inspiration, innovation, and pride. You motivate us to continually strive to improve our programs, our technology, and to advocate for our institution's academic mission. You may soon be leaving Arnott, but we hope and expect that your best experiences at Arnott will not soon leave you. You will always find an open door here and a warm welcome. You have our profound gratitude and sincere best wishes for continued success and a lifetime of professional satisfaction and personal fulfillment, wherever your path may lead. Thank you and congratulations.
If I could introduce Dr. Terry.
Thank you. You're going to be great. All right. Welcome. Welcome and congrats. I'm going to keep it short, whoever said that. You know, I have to keep it short. Shelby, where's Shelby? Shelby said, keep it brief this year. I said, who told you to say that? Whoa. I said, who told you to say that? Harsha? She said, and she reminded me, you love to talk, especially about LECOMP. So, and she's right. So anyway, it's an honor to be here. You know, I've been part of every single one of these since 2014 when we had 2 residents graduate, and now it's 35 of you. It's amazing. You know, we established these programs for one reason, and one reason only, for workforce. And as I look at where these docs are all going, so many are staying in New York State, some right here. It's amazing. They are the future. You are the future for healthcare here and everywhere. We established the medical school for the same reason. So each of you have lots of opportunities. Some have chosen to stay here. Thank you. We really need you. So, and for those going elsewhere, you will do well, and we're sure your skills will apply there. Tonight, though, I just want to focus on what kind of doctor you need to be. You know, the financial aspect of healthcare is an absolute disaster. The reimbursement's flawed, as Jonathan had mentioned, immense pressure on health systems to make money, and the cost of medical education is way too expensive. So most of you end up working for some hospital system. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. The idea is, let's not put profits over patients. This corporate healthcare delivery that what we have has taken the physician and said, you're a provider. You're not a provider, you're physicians. Provider is a generic term created by insurance companies to genericize us all, that we can plug you in with an NP, and no offense, or a PA, but that isn't it. You're a physician, and I want to challenge that notion. The very definition of a physician is to care. As Francis Peabody said some 100 years ago to Harvard medical students, the secret of the care for the patient is caring for the patient. So I urge you, as you go into your practice, above all else, take that 10 precious minutes you have with a patient. It's about what you're going to have. Look at them, talk to them, ask them about their family, put your computer down, and make them feel like the most important person in the world. Kind of like that gentleman over there, Dr. Matthew, with 50 years, the epitome of what a physician is and should be. There is no comparison. It's true, Joe. It's true. Secondly, you got to maintain a balanced lifestyle. I understand that. But in nearly 3 decades of experience in medicine, I can confidently say, you guys got it much better than Mike Witt, all of us, and certainly Joe Matthew ever had it. But you're entering into an employed position. Many of you will have productivity requirements, okay? But I want you to understand something. Your patients don't know that you work for this or you're that, or you have to generate this many RVUs, or your time shift ends this. All they know is that precious time with you, those sentinel moments that matter the most. So make them matter. One of the biggest complaints about doctors today is we don't have empathy. It's across the board. It's terrible. I mean, if you ever go on social media, it's rampant. Why doctors are burning out, why patients are so happy. So here's what I suggest to all of you. First of all, you got to choose to care. And if you don't have it naturally, learn how to act like you care. Your patients need that. I'm telling you. You guys won't have to act much, I'm sure. Most of you. No, the point being, that's what's missing in medicine today. That's what's absent. Finally, I'm going to ask it of this of you. Don't succumb to the negativity about medicine, the field of medicine. There's an unprecedented amount of pessimism. It's terrible. Being a doctor, discouragement. People won't pursue certain practices. I want to remind you, this is the greatest profession in the world. You get to care for people, and they trust you, and you play a role in their life. So, some news. Every healthcare system has flaws. Everyone, whether it's a small group practice, a large practice. There's no perfection. Folks, it's just degrees of imperfection in an imperfect system. And that is it. You're going to learn to live with that. But you've got to meet the needs of your patient every time. Just demonstrate you care. So you've been trained here at a community health center by doctors like Dr. Baxter, Kellogg, Witt, Dr. Mazza, who does this sheerly out of love for these fellows to do this. They care. They're compassionate, and they're incredibly competent. So it's your turn now, all of you. Give it back. What matters to your patients is that you care and the time that you spent with them. Take this training with you. Go out in the world and be role models of what a genuine, empathetic physician should be. Congrats. I wish you all great success. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence and Dr. Terry. Let's get down to business. All right. Dr. Baxter and Lindsay?
Okay, I'd first like to thank Dr. Kaiser Wang. He graduated last year. He had to catch a plane to Peru, and so they let us go first. And they kept it that way this year, which means I no longer have to follow Dylan Kellogg, which I always found immensely stressful. So this one's going to be a little bit more bittersweet than most, because this is the last one I'm doing with Lindsay as my coordinator. Dr. Witt alluded to it. Most of my PD colleagues will agree with me. Program director is kind of like the British monarchy. You have a cool title, a few responsibilities, and the illusion that you're at the head of something. But the coordinators are the nerve center that keep the machine purring like a kitten. And Lindsay was the best. I mean, she's still going to be here because she's going to be taking Paul's place. So, but she's been a great coordinator and a better friend, and I thank you. So, okay, to the residents. I have fewer than usual this year, and I got the inspiration for how I'm going to introduce them because we run the gamut this year, literally from A to Z, Achimpong to Zhang. And I got the inspiration for tonight's theme because of the nickname of one of my residents. So tonight's theme is going to be based on Winnie the Pooh. So I'm probably Pooh. Christopher Robin's the responsible one, so that would be Lindsay. But we're going to start with Andrea Achimpong, who I think her Pooh character is Owl. Quiet and wise, and just kind of soaks things in. Andrea was one of our chiefs. She was also the Family Medicine Resident of the Year for this year. Yeah. And she is an incredibly kind and thoughtful physician. Some of this I said yesterday at the awards ceremony, but it bears repeating. I'm going to miss her. I know that she was in our rural track, so I know that Dr. O'Connor and his colleagues are going to miss her. We tried to get her to sign here, but alas, Andrea is headed to Valley Health in Virginia when she is done here. So, congratulations. So, for those of you who have been to a few of these things, you know that every year we always handed out pieces of paper instead of diplomas, and I would always make the joke, here you go, here's a piece of paper that's empty, like my soul. Well, they've taken that away from me. So this year, you're actually going to get your diplomas that are flat, like Cam's Affect. I love you, big guy, you know that. Okay. So everybody's going to get a book, the Dr. Seuss, the graduate edition of The Places You'll Go, and their diploma.
And from the faculty.
And a mug. Okay, next is Hula al-Rashidi. Hula was actually the toughest one for me to come up with a Pooh character for, and I finally chose Rabbit, which it's not a perfect fit because, well, Rabbit's a dude, and she's not. But, yeah, Rabbit's a dude. So anyway, but Rabbit, I chose Rabbit because he's very formal at times, really likes things in order, and, you know, everything has to be just so. And Hula has some of those qualities in there, and it's a good thing. But Rabbit's also kind of bossy and kind of orders everybody around, and that is definitely not Hula. That's not how she's built, so I'm sorry, it's an imperfect comparison. But, so Hula's our one resident who's actually going on to fellowship. She's going to be doing a vein and lymphatics fellowship in Maryland. So if you ever make your way over to Ocean City, think of me. I used to love to go there. But so I think that was it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if they're going to come and hug you, I'll let you give them the mug. Okay. Next, Anthony Cam, the inspiration for my theme. And I am not the one who gave him the nickname Eeyore. I just usurped it. But and I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea about Eeyore, because he's traditionally very glum and everything. Anthony's not really glum, but he never gets really phased much either. It doesn't matter if things are glorious and fabulous and you're living your best life, or if the world is crashing down around you in flames, that's fine. Yeah. So, yep. So Anthony will be headed to Missouri to do inpatient and outpatient medicine for Mercy Hospital in Springfield. So close yet so far. We almost had you. I'm sorry to see you go to Missouri. I know that Joe Matthew's happy to see you. Somebody go back to where he came from and trained. So congratulations, Anthony. Okay, next is Sadaf Magal, who is Kanga. Okay, so if you don't know Winnie the Pooh, Kanga is a mom, and she is the mom of a teenager, which means she's really good at handling resident colleagues and True story, a lot of them actually referred to her as mom. So it seems like just yesterday, and it was 4 years ago instead of 3, because Sadaf came in as our first ever research fellow. She sat across my desk and said, "What do you expect of me as a research fellow?" And I said, "I have no idea, I've never had one." And so she came up with a plan, made it work. When it came time to select residents for the incoming year, the people who sat in these chairs last year told me unanimously, she deserves a shot. You need to make her an intern. We want to senior her as an intern. And so we have. And here you go, and you're graduating, and you're off to your beloved California, where you won't have to worry about snow anymore, working for Kaiser Permanente. It's been a pleasure, and congratulations. Okay, Lynn Vadahara. I wasn't sure. It was kind of a toss-up between Piglet and Rue. And I chose Rue, just because, you know, I saw Sadaf try to, like, do mom stuff with you, and, yeah. But, no, Lynn has very quietly put together an excellent body of work as a resident. When he first started, I think it's fair to say you weren't totally sure of yourself, but he has really grown in his confidence, he's grown in his competence, and he's gonna kill it wherever he ends up, because he doesn't have a job yet. I think he's opening a free clinic beneath a viaduct by Libs. So, but congratulations. Okay, I said A to Z, we're at Z. Last but not least, Roland Zhang, who's Tigger. Or Tigger on Adderall. So he's mischievous like Tigger. He loves to joke around. He's always the most irreverent of them all, which is probably why we get along, because we both have a penchant for that. And he's been a lot of fun. Roland was also co-chief with Andrea, and the both of them did an excellent job. And again, I was really hoping to get Roland to stay here, but alas, he's off to Delaware working for Atricare Primary Care in Lewes, Delaware. So Godspeed and good luck, and you'll be back. Okay. Congrats, group. Well done. Go out and kill it.
All right, Dr. Mazza and Melissa.
Well, I'm glad Mike mentioned he reached the ripe old age of 50 and had a lot of memories. When you reach 75, you can't remember a damn thing. Anyway, it's nice to be here. I'm happy to say that the Gastroenterology Fellowship Program is thriving and thriving well. As you know, well, it proceeds with insouciant progression. As you know, the structure of the program changed last year, and it appears it was very successful. We will continue our rotations at Geisinger for our advanced procedure exposure, and we'll continue the rotations at the University of Pittsburgh for our hepatology experience. This allows advanced exposure to complex hepatology cases with academic hepatologists and also transplant hepatology. We've continued our rotation with the national motility experts, and the fellows have continued to obtain successful elective rotations at some of the most respected medical centers in the country, particularly with inflammatory bowel disease. Our two graduating fellows, as most of you know, are Paige Robinson and Farhan Ali. And just like our previous fellows, their presence and involvement have continued to solidify our program. I've enjoyed their interaction, and I hate to see them go. Paige, stand up, Paige. As you can see, is short in stature. But she is powerful with her personality and drive. She is a true leader, and she kept things well organized within the group. She was consistently driven to learn, and I mean consistently driven. With that drive, she did learn and is very solid with her gastroenterology and hepatology knowledge. Her endoscopic skills developed slowly, but then developed very well near the end, and she will do very well in practice. She will be joining a group in Ithaca and will be associated with the Cuga Medical Center. Farhan, stand up. As most of you know, Farhan's been with us for 6 years, completing his internal medicine residency before the 3 years with us. Farhan was also driven, hardworking, reliable, very dependable, and would be willing to do anything that was needed within the program. He also completed outside rotations at major academic centers, including the University of San Francisco, where he closely interacted with one of the most respected thought leaders in inflammatory bowel disease. He was never intimidated by any situation. As with Paige, he also had an aggressive desire to learn, and his knowledge is also outstanding. From a technical standpoint, he is an exceptional endoscopist and is comfortable with any endoscopic procedure. The future for him is bright. He will be continuing his training at the University of Maryland for another year to become trained in advanced endoscopic procedures, ERCP, EOS, and others. Although the graduation ceremony is a celebration of a long road of hard work, I hate this day. It's the same empty feeling you get when you have to let go of a daughter and a son. I truly hate to see them go, but I'm very proud of both of them.
All right, Dr. Buffo and Melissa.
Melissa's doing double duty tonight. I have to echo what Tim said about losing your program coordinator. Melissa's been my right hand since the beginning. It was her and Paula that helped me navigate through our 10-year accreditation program, which ended up being about 600 pages long. I received our 10-year accreditation, and I, like Tim, was the king, and they just brought me the papers to sign, pretty much. And, but they were very valuable, and I will miss you a lot. We're getting Amanda, and I'm very happy, and she's going to be wonderful. While most of my comments are directed to my graduating residents, Cam and Emma, they are for everyone. All of you graduating residents, you've reached the pinnacle and you're ready to move on. I try to have some words of wisdom to send off our residents, but not being a sage, not having a beard, not having a staff, it just falls down. And I've had to reach out to some of my favorite authors to try and get some words of wisdom. And as a grandfather, I tend to vacillate to things like Winnie the Pooh and easy-to-read books. So I approached some of my old reading materials, and I came across a late 20th century author, philosopher, Unitarian minister, Dr. Robert Fulghum. You may know his name. He's written several books. My favorite title, it was on fire when I lay down on it. I'm not sure how that really works, but his famous book is All I Ever Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. And we're going to use some of that wisdom from there. Now try and imagine yourselves our residents, our fellows, our leaders, actually abiding by these principles. The first one is to share. The second one is to play fair. The third is don't hurt people. The fourth, put things back where you found them. Clean up your mess. Don't take things that aren't yours. Wash your hands and flush. Warm cookies and milk are good for you. And take a nap every day. In summary, what Fulgham is saying, be kind, stay balanced, learn, think, play, sing, dance, and be with each other. What we learn in kindergarten comes up again in our lives, sometimes in sermons, sometimes in courts, sometimes in encounters. Could you imagine a world if at 3 o'clock every afternoon our world leaders would stop everything, grab a fresh-baked chocolate chip cookie, a glass of milk, and got their blankie and laid down for an hour? What a different world it would be. So what we're trying to say is, it's easy, be kind, don't go it alone, hold hands, stick together, and don't necessarily go down the path where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. 6 years ago, we interviewed, matched, and now graduate these outstanding doctors. Emma, could you stand? Emma, talented, competent, thinks out of the box. She's my chief resident for the last 2 years, and second to Melissa, she's been my other arm. She's been a real mentor to our junior residents. She's been instrumental in positive change in our residency, especially moving from the 13-block schedule to the 12-month schedule, where she's kind of squeezed a square peg into a round hole with a lot of Vaseline. In her spare time, she's birthed 2 boys, Max and Beck. And yesterday I said at the award ceremony on the 7th day she rested. And I've been corrected that with a nearly 3-year-old and an 8-month-old, there is no rest. We're losing Emma to a fellowship at the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida, where she will be pursuing neuroradiology from 2024 to 2025. She has this innate fear of reptiles. So as one of our parting gifts, I bought her a gallon of reptile repellent for her to spray on her property and herself every day. May I speak for the attendings and myself, we're proud and we're honored to have been part of your journey and be part of your journey in the future. Congratulations, Emma. And I have a copy of the book for both of them. You're welcome. Cam, can you stand? I remember Cam's interview. It seemed like it was yesterday. It was 6 years ago, and I can't believe how fast 6 years has gone. Cam is also talented. He is competent. Early on, he had great technical skills, right out of the box. He's been a wonderful mentor to his juniors, and he's actually saved my butt, literally. You can see he's a talented bicyclist, and I'm an amateur bicyclist, and I was having this chronic bicycle problem from the way I was sitting on the seat. So he introduced me to this molded leather seat that has been a life changer for me. Thank you. He passed his boards, and in your brochures, it says that he's going into private practice next year, and he is. But I just learned this week that he was accepted into the Musculoskeletal Fellowship at Mayo Clinic in Florida for the year after. And we're very happy for that. In addition, he's a very talented photographer. For the last few years, he's been a GME photographer. So the man behind the lens is now in front. The interesting thing is, the last time he was over for dinner, he had to help me move some furniture. We had pizza, and for dessert, we had cannolis. And he ate the cannoli, said, "I've never had one of these before." And I'm wondering, what kind of food do they eat in Louisiana? A straight gumbo. You've made me proud, And for myself and the attendings, we are honored to have you be part of our journey and look forward to your future. Congratulations, Cam.
All right, Dr. Kellogg and Sandy.
Good evening, gentlemen. And I do say gentlemen because, much to the chagrin of ACGME diversity efforts, we are graduating a class of 6 dudes tonight. Actually, 5 dudes and a cardboard cutout. No, it is what it is. This is a very special class in a number of ways. They are perhaps our biggest troublemaking class, one of our smartest classes, and perhaps our most closely bonded class that we've ever had. I could not be prouder of all of you gentlemen and cardboard. I want to be clear. I did not recruit this class. Dr. Bowen recruited this class, and I acquired them about 3 or 4 months into their training, so I get credit for their success. But, you know, I was struck today during didactics. One of you suggested that we should all wear wetsuits to graduation. I don't know why. And then another one of you said, good idea. And then Mike said, no, we should wear climbing gear. And is this just to show off all the stereotypically cool hobbies that EM physicians have? Yeah. Okay, good.
We had matching bike helmets too.
And then, whilst we were practicing pericardiocenteses and lumbar punctures, so yes, between stabbing people in the back and stabbing people in the heart, a couple of you were sparring with each other. And I realized why you said wetsuits. Not because you wanted to wear wetsuits to graduation, but because you wanted me to look like a dork up here in front of this august audience. So, I love you guys. I love you guys so much that I am going to look like a dork up here. Number one, there's a hobby that several of you have of powerlifting. And I want you to take the lesson of powerlifting that you've put the reps in over the last 3 years, and you guys are ready for all the heavy lifting of emergency medicine. Number 2, climbing. Everything's angled here. Excuse me. So, it's all mine. I have all the cool hobbies.
This is why I didn't want to
So,
follow him.
you know, excuse me if I don't put my leg loops in. I don't think I can do that with suit pants on, but climbing, I want you gentlemen to remember the importance of always having a belayer and always being a belayer. Emergency medicine is a team sport. Have your colleagues back. I know you will have each other's back, and I hope you know that all of us at Arnott will always have your backs. The scuba gear was important. Hi, guys. Medicine can be overwhelming. You can drown. It is important to come up for air, to relax, to do fun things, to make an idiot of yourself from time to time. And last, but certainly not least, all the props. You have to fight as a physician. You have to fight for what is right for your patients. I know you guys have strong moral compasses. Do not forget at 2 a.m. to fight to get that specialist in, to take care of the patient that you need. Always advocate for what's best for your patients. I know you will. Guys, I couldn't be prouder. I love you. I hope you appreciate what I've done for you here. Now, thank you, Nick. I don't know if I can do this, but I'm the only one with a snorkel here, and I only have one hand. It really takes a village to care for residents. Obviously, if it were just me, we'd all be in big trouble. So certainly Sandy deserves most of the credit for us getting successfully through the last years. It makes me really sad hearing you guys talk about your coordinators leaving. I've told Sandy in no uncertain terms that if she goes, I go. But I'd also like to invite all the other EM faculty who like to hide in the back at these things to come up and help me congratulate you guys on graduating. So please get up here. Dr. Bowen, I see you back there. Dr. Walton, I know you're hiding somewhere. I saw Dr. Fitch. Dr. Lux. Dr. Witt. Dr. Brown. Dr. Manganero's back there somewhere. I know. Yes.
I told you I didn't have to come up here anymore.
As well, you know, when one is formally dressed, as I am, there is nothing that one should do other than read poetry. But you guys have short attention spans, so I wrote haikus about each of you. Dr. Alferano, if you could please stand up. Mr. Ultrasound, there's a student I must teach. I saw a squirrel. Dr. DeCarlos, teacher, chef, camper, trauma patients must be nude. Come, try this mushroom. Dr. Ivers, starts with Achilles, inspires me to deadlift, philosopher king. Dr. Tverjic, calm in a crisis, his wood projects shame us all, most unique chili. Dr. Patel. Leader from day one, beloved by all the staff, incredible hair. And Dr. Wolf. Dr. Wolf. He's not here tonight, probably home with a book. Photoshop him in. Get up here, guys.
Mike, get in the line.
Here you go. You're welcome. There you go. Never a dull moment.
We have presents for you guys somewhere. Dr. Walton, where are the presents for them?
We'll get them.
No. Don't leave. We have presents for you guys. Well, don't leave the ceremony. You can sit down. Congrats again, guys.
Yep, always trouble. Emergency medicine, sit down. All right, Dr. Bushnell and Allison.
fully understand Dr. Baxter's sentiments now. Our residents are just as amazing, but unfortunately, no props. Sorry, guys. Oh, good. Our first resident is Vincent Fryer. He transferred into our program in his second year, and he brought with him a lot of really innovative new ideas. His passion for consult psychiatry led him to really help to shape a new approach on our consult service. He was able to bring everything he's learned, both at his old program and in attending conferences, to take a new, more proactive approach and really improve that service. He was one of the first residents on our integrative care rotation, and he also helped to really shape that into something that has the potential to provide a lot more psychiatric care to a lot of patients in our community. His extensive knowledge in psychiatry and his desire to help improve the systems in general have been a real asset to our program, and I think that they created changes that are going to exist long after he leaves. He's going to be going to a consult liaison fellowship where he's going to learn lots of new cool things. So, our next resident is Sam. He's been a part of our program for 4 years. I guess everybody else has. The normal amount. So he's always been willing and eager to provide really exceptional patient care on every rotation. He's always available to help out when needed. That's made him invaluable as a chief resident this year. He's someone that all of the other residents can turn to when they need something. He never fails to bring a smile to everybody's face, even though his smiles don't bring as much joy as Biscuit does. It's been a privilege to watch him grow into a psychiatrist who exudes confidence and an adeptness that will be a real boon for our community. He's staying on after graduation to work at Arnott, and we're very excited to have him leading our emergency and consult program. Our next resident in the program is Helena Prieto. She couldn't be here with us today, but I was able to say lots of all the nice things to her face yesterday when we presented her with our Resident of the Year award. Our next resident is Avanti, also here for the normal amount of time. So she has a true passion for psychiatry. She's always been a very strong advocate for all of her patients. She constantly seeks to improve the community by providing access to different services that we don't have here, particularly in that she's brought different group therapies to our inpatient and outpatient offices that have provided services that are sorely lacking. She's also developed a curriculum for medical students, which, again, something else that one of our graduating residents this year created for our program that's going to be a legacy that far outlasts her presence here with us. She's also pursuing a consult liaison fellowship where she's also going to do lots of really amazing things. So James is one of our most personable residents here. He has an affable nature and ability to connect with any patient, which makes him a very effective psychiatrist. The fact that he always has a frozen chocolate bar or a packet of Gushers doesn't hurt. His coworkers and staff are always happy to have him on the service. We couldn't entice him to stay here at Arnott, but he's still going to be a real benefit for our community. I probably had a better word written down. I did. We're very lucky that he'll be staying on at Guthrie, providing excellent patient care to all of the patients over there in Pennsylvania.
All right, Dr. Chen and Angela.
Hello, everyone, and
and good evening. So I just want to maintain our focus. I was told short and sweet, and that's the way we're going to keep it. But I do want to maintain our focus on this is a celebration of our graduates here. So I'd like to hear a round of applause for our graduating class, please. But equally important, I do want to maintain an environment of gratitude and appreciation. Gratitude and appreciation to Arnett and its administration for allowing me to come in to help with internal medicine and really mold this program into what I want it to be. Appreciation and gratitude to the families and friends here who've supported our residents, who've not been able to do what they did without your support, without your encouragement. And I want you guys to give them a round of applause for the support they provided you guys. So please, as friends and families to our residents here, and lastly, appreciation and gratitude to my residents who've worked with me here. And, since I've started here, I've told the administration, I like medicine, but teaching is my passion. And these residents here have listened to me and teach for nearly at least 100 hours plus. They've helped me and worked with me here to all the changes in the program have really been beneficial that way. And to them, I say thank you very much for everything. And without further ado, I'd like to present them with your diplomas. Please keep them safe. As soon as you get home, mount them on the wall because one day when you need them, they will be right there. If you don't frame them, you will not find them. You will look everywhere, and it will be very troublesome. All right, so who are we starting with? All right. So, in description of my residents, what I've come forth is by far their most outstanding characteristics. And the first and foremost here is by far my most energetic third-year resident, who always comes around with at least one cup of coffee and one energy drink every morning asking, what are we going to do next? Where are the procedures? And how do I go there? All right, Omar, come on, get up here. Dr. Omar Siddiqui. And uniquely so, he's the only one who wanted to say something at graduation. Oh no. All right. Dr. Siddiqui here will be headed forth, and he'll be working at, let's see here, a nocturnist at Harrisburg, PA. But hopefully one day he will return, and I'm looking forward to that one day.
Do you want me to go in order for that? Would that be easier?
That's fine. Choice. So our next resident that I'm presenting our diploma to is by far our most disciplined and hardworking resident. Somebody who's been there through the board reviews, through lectures, through thick and thin, and whenever things were going difficult, she was always someone who I could rely on to help with the situation. Dr. Troy's Fortune, please come up. Also our internal medicine resident of the year as well. Our next resident that I'm giving our diploma to is by far our most resilient one. Someone who will learn more from not just getting to their destination, but the obstacles and the paths that they have along them. And I implore them that this is something that will help them grow into another, much further, developed physician. Dr. Ruri DeHosa, please come up. Let the obstacles along your way mold you into a better physician. I know they will. Yeah. Our next one here is by far our most amicable resident. Our amicable resident here not only loved by the staff, loved by the hospitalists as such, and as such, the hospitalists have come up with an additional award to present to you. And this is Dr. Laura Carlson. By far one of the most dedicated residents to cardiology, and she will get to wherever she wants to be one day. I know you will get there. Thank you. All right. Our next physician here, by far to me, is by far the most well-rounded, balancing out work, balancing out life, Dr. Harsha Sarath. She will be staying here with Arnott to be one of our hospitalists here. Hopefully one day also to join me in GME and medical education. Our next resident that I'd like to give our diploma to is by far the one who's grown the most this year. Somebody who's not grown just in medicine, but as a person, to grow in different situations by far. Dr. Pranjali Dagwali, please come up here. By far not only ready to handle any medical issue, but any situations that come her way with grace, and you will do great. Our next resident here is by far one of the smartest residents I've had the honors of teaching. Somebody that keeps me on my toes and keeps me studying so that I know the answers to her questions. Dr. Somia Srinivas, please come up here. And last but not least here, by far one of my best presenters. Somebody who I've seen through the year, whenever they give presentations, has been thorough, has been well thought out, to the length of what it needs to be. Dr. Adnan Sheikh, please come up here. And lastly here, so as an educator to you, here's my final lesson in this setting. Please let your knowledge and your experiences this year kindle an eternal pursuit of knowledge. Maintain that knowledge, continue learning, and if you need help, you know where to find me. Thank you.
And last but not least, Dr. Brown. And who's Paula? Oh, I got her on the phone.
All right, so this year was our first year with the transitional year program at Arnott, the first ACGME accredited transitional year program here. And it's my first year being program director for this program. So it's been a learning experience, and thank you. So I want to thank the faculty members that have worked with me to establish this program that we have, and I want to thank our residents who have been along the way and, you know, telling us how we're doing and giving us feedback so that we can improve and try to make this the best program possible, and so that we can be prepared for our incoming class this July. I know our residents have been very active around the hospital, rotating through the different departments, getting to know residents from other programs, faculty from other departments. I know they've been active with research. I know there was a number of posters that came from transitional year residents at the poster symposium. We had one resident who did so well in emergency medicine when she first began here. She was able to transfer into the emergency medicine program as a first-year resident.
We stole her.
Yep. And interestingly enough, the resident that we brought on board who filled her spot, Dr. Anthony Willie, he matched into the emergency medicine program here as well. So we're feeding some residents along. So of our 8 residents, they're going into different programs, different directions. We have most of our residents are radiologists, but we also have someone going into radiation oncology. We have 2 going into emergency medicine. We have someone going into internal medicine. And lucky for us, 4 out of our 8 are actually staying here at Arnott, so you'll be seeing them again in a few years for their next graduation with Arnott. All right, so I'm gonna hand these out. So we are gonna start with Dr. Syed Ali. So this is someone who is an individual who is quiet but very kind, caring, has a great heart, and I see a lot of potential in him. I know he's going to be a great radiologist. Congratulations.
Thank you, Paula.
You're welcome. Good luck, hon. Thank you. Have the next one?
Sure.
All right.
All right. Dr. Akito Nicole. You look good, you're good. So this is another one of our radiologists here at Arnott. Dr. Akito, he really made an impression on all of his rotations, going through the different departments of the hospital. I've heard from more than one program that if radiology doesn't work out, feel free to join their program. So he's being sought after by multiple people.
Not the first time I heard it.
And so, I'm very proud to present this to you, Akito. All right, next we have Dr. Anibian Rodriguez. So, of the people that are here at graduation from the TY program, Anibian is the one that I interviewed during the interview process last fall, and luckily we liked him, he liked us, and we were able to match him into our program. He's going to be doing radiology at Rutgers in New Jersey coming up this summer. So I know Anibian is very smart, very talented, also good heart, easy to get along with, and so I'm proud to present this to you. All right, and then I could just briefly say something about the others. All right, and then next we have Dr. Anthony Willey. So even though he started with our program later in the year than his colleagues, he was able to jump in, get familiar with the EMR, get familiar with seeing patients here, and was able to dive right in, and has been doing a great job ever since then. I could tell that he cares a lot about his patients. He has a lot of drive and passion for what he does, and I'm excited to work with him in my own department, the emergency department, this coming year. Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. And then I will mention briefly the residents that we do not have here present currently who are graduating. So we have Dr. Claudienne Mwafo Matsum. She's going into our internal medicine program. Claudienne is an individual. I remember when I interviewed her last fall that she was very determined, passionate, driven. She had come to the United States and was working her butt off to get to a position where she could get into a program and then make her way into internal medicine. She's one of the most driven, hardworking people that I've worked with personally. So congratulations to Dr. Claudienne Mwafo. And then we also have Dr. Courtney Jackson. So Dr. Courtney Jackson, he is an individual who had some time off between medical school and pursuing his dream of becoming a practicing physician. And he was looking for a transitional year as a way to get his foot in the door, get back into practicing medicine. I know when he first began, he was hesitant and nervous, but he fell into the groove. He put together his study plans. He was very hardworking. Every time I talked with him, he had a positive outlook and was really working, and I can see the potential in him. I can see that he is doing everything he can do to continue his medical career, and I'm very proud of him. So, Dr. Courtney Jackson. We also have Dr. Mihir Patel. Dr. Mihir Patel is the one going into radiation oncology, also in New Jersey. He is very talented, very smart. He has good connection with his patients and the colleagues that he works with. I have no doubt that he's going to bring a lot to the table when he goes to his next program in New Jersey. So. Who am I forgetting? There's Nina. Okay. And then our last person, Dr. Nina Yelisina. She is an individual who was a practicing physician in her home country before she came to the U.S. When she came here, she was looking to get into a transitional year program as a way into the U.S. medical system. Dr. Nina, she's very friendly, easy to get along with. She has been studying, learning, progressing. I was proud to see that she chose emergency medicine as her destination, and so she worked with the emergency medicine program here. She really prepared herself, and she ended up matching to a program in Florida, and I'm sure she will do well, and I'm proud of her as well. So, Dr. Nina.
All right, thank you. Congratulations, graduates. And just briefly before we close, I just want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you for the impact you've made on the institution, the impact you've made on your colleagues, the impact you've made on me and our faculty. So thank you, congratulations. Have a good night.